Year, it appears even the IRS has its work cut out for it.
It's a big challenge, even bigger than last year. We got kind of shut down in the middle of the season.
The Internal Revenue Service announcing that it won't accept or process any 2020 tax year returns before Friday, February 12th, at least 3 weeks later than past years. But as we all know, 2020 wasn't just any other year. In fact, there was an endless amount of changes to everything from adjustments to income to working from home.
Sometimes if they changed venue and they worked at home the whole year and their company might have a nexus there, they may be taxed differently. Like maybe they're not in New York City the whole time, so they're not subject to city tax.
Financial planner Sean Roberts says with this being an unusually busy year for both taxpayers and the IRS, he suggests filing early.
Make sure we get on it early. It's very, very important to get on it early because we don't know. A lot of people have collected unemployment and they didn't have it taxed properly, so they may wind up in a position where they owe. And we want to make sure that we could get their taxes ready to go and get payment plans ready to process as soon as possible so they don't have tax problems.
Some of the other biggest changes this year include those 2020 stimulus payments, which the Tax Institute's Garrett Watson says does not count as taxable income.
The stimulus payments are considered a tax credit on your tax return, so you won't have to pay any tax on either prior stimulus payments that were made or any additional amount that you'll be able to receive.
If you worked from home this year, which most people have, you unfortunately can't deduct any work expenses unless you're self-employed.
If you are self-employed and you moved into a home office environment, you should look into potentially deducting those expenses that you haven't already before, because you can do that under certain limitations.
In a year where many have had mounting medical expenses, there may be some that are tax deductible. And if you had COVID, can those medical bills be tax deductible?
So you have to have a certain number of medical expenses for them to be considered deductible. Below that floor, you won't be able to deduct them. So you want to make sure to check how much expenses you have, what your AGI is, and whether or not you're eligible.
Experts say the best way to get the highest refund this year is to talk to your own personal tax preparer who can figure out what you're owed or may owe and what exactly you can write off. But come prepared and don't expect to see any refunds before mid to late March. Richard Giacobas, Fox